Hello and welcome to another edition of the Motors Mouth podcast. Today we're going to be looking at the month of February, all things motors related. Thank you for joining us once again. Steve, how are we?
I'm good, apart from a bit of a swollen knee, but it's age for you.
It all comes to us. Now, usually when we start this show, we like to pick out our highlight of the month, but if we're being honest, February hasn't been the greatest month for Vauxhall, has it?
No, it's been, every team's going to go through it once a season, aren't they? They're going to have a bad spell, even the great teams, in the Premier League and stuff like that. So hopefully it's just, we've had a run of games where we just haven't been at it. Obviously we're going to review the games in a minute. There's a couple of points I want to make on one game certainly that cost us, but just hopefully we can get this. We've got a home game today, a game Monday. Again, if we get 6 points out of that, we're back in the mix again. All's not lost, we're still on the hunt for promotion, but it's just been just a bit of a blip. Hopefully,
I think my highlight of the month of February is my infamous immune system was a topic of conversation around the club. But I'm back, so
famous lack of immune
system.
system.
Lack of immune system, let's call it that, yeah. So at the time of recording of this episode, it's the day of the game against Lowbreck. We're in the month of March now, and there's a game on Monday against Winsford United that I've just referenced. So this is being recorded prior to those games, but you will obviously be watching this after those games have happened. So we're either going to look like Mr. Megs or a bunch of fools. Yeah. But let's dive into February. We started off with back-to-back defeats, away at Prestwich Hayes and then at home Northwich Victoria.
Yeah, so the Prestwich Hayes game was the game the reference there I wanted to touch on. Prestwich, they've done really well against all the top teams. It was a difficult place to go to. First half, I thought we were okay, we were good. The game ended on two key decisions. There was a blatant penalty on Michael Berkey in the first half, which we were right next to where we were doing.
We saw it,
commentary. He's kicked right the way through. It's a blatant penalty. Simple as. You scored that, you go 1-0 up, you settle down.
Changes the game completely.
And usually when we go 1-0 up, we'll build on that.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, they come back into it, and then the second terrible decision. Now, obviously, Mick McGrath can't say too much about referees, but I'll say it is an absolute disgrace. Vauxhall's defender has clearly won the ball. There's no doubt about it, and the referees give a free kick for them, right on the edge of the box, which the manager scored off it and win 1-0. But two bad decisions, which I think cost us at least a point, if not 3 points on that day.
And you could argue that it not just affected the game, but it's affected the subsequent games. And as you said, both teams are dropping points left, right, and centre. But that was a huge turning point in this part of the season.
I mean, the penalty, it was a penalty. I think a penalty all day long.
Yeah,
but it's not given. Okay, but the tackle in the second half that led to their free kick when the goal scored. It's not even. You look at the footage back. It's not even in doubt. It's not even like you know what, you'd want it as your team, but you didn't want it. Wouldn't want it against you. It was a great tackle, and the lads gone down screaming, and referees bought it and give a free kick and they've scored and end up winning the game 1-0. But absolutely shocking decision.
So we moved on a couple of days later at home to Northwich Victoria. Vauxhall went down 2-1 to the visitors, and it was two identical free kicks from Brandon Barsky in the first half. You could argue the first one's a great strike, second one exact same position maybe. I think it was Matty Corrin in goal, could have read it better.
Yeah, I think Kieran was ill, I think, at the time. Now, as a goalkeeper, I wouldn't want to be getting beat by either of them. Positional wise, he looked like he was too far over to his left post on the first one, and he's give the free kick taker a lot of space to aim at, to a point where all he's got to do is just put it to an area. He didn't have to find the top in, he put it in an area, and it's going to be a goal because Matty Conner given himself far too much space to get across to get it on it if he puts it in that area. Second one, he's hit it with power, but again, I don't know whether it's just a bit of lack of experience from Matty or what, but I think if Kieran's in goal, he saves both of them comfortably. Like I say, I wouldn't want to get beat by him, but I'm not don't want to slate the lad Matty, because when he's come in, he's done really well for us.
Absolutely.
But again, we were huffed and puffed first half. And come out the block second half and had a really good goal. Missed a penalty. Got a goal back, and had a goal disallowed. So we could
the last kick of the game. It was
kick of the game. So
deemed a foul.
we could have easily turned it round and got something out of the game, but it's just went through a lack of trying second half, because we were right on it second half.
Vauxhall got their first win in February at home to Barnoldswick Town, and you'll have to fill me on this one because I missed this one, but it seemed like a routine win in the end.
Yeah, I think we were what you put down as professional performance. 2-0 up first half. One was a defensive mistake, he sliced the ball, and the other one was a good move finish, and we controlled the game from there. Chance second half. I know their keepers pulled off a couple of good saves second half, but yeah, 2-0, clean sheet, back to winning ways.
That was followed up by a hard-fought 1-1 draw at home to Charnock, Richard. And Charnock were a bit of a unknown quantity, the quality side. And
I think Charnock got our first L this season, didn't he? Away.
He did, yeah.
But yeah, they're a good team, Charnock. They got Grimmy up front. He's been around the leagues for a long time, and he's one of them old style, get amongst you, and he won't back out of a challenge, and he's always there or thereabouts. So, yeah, their goal first half, made great defending, but we didn't start well. I thought it was just like, I remember saying to someone, like a pre-season friendly, or it's like a last game of the season where there's nothing to play for. Second half we were better, got the equaliser. Again, could have easily won it, but we got out with the points, and I think that was probably a fair result on the day.
And then we end the month of February with possibly the worst performance of the season, and Mick McGrath was
scathing, really.
Yeah, he backed up that point. I think he used the word a shambles. 2-0 away at Congleton Town. He
apologised for anyone who made the slip down, which was respect to him for doing that. I think you brought up a stat which, I blame you, because you said you haven't won at home since Boxing Day. It's kiss of death. So you've said that, so straight away you're thinking, oh god, nice one, Patrick. So yeah, they just obviously they're going good guns in the Vars. I think they're in another couple of cup competitions as well, so the Vars is the main one for them. I think we talked about whether it'd take the focus off, but I said it might do, but then you look at it and go, players are playing for that shit for the Vars against Bury, which is going to be a massive game for them.
They're expecting about 1,000 crowd there.
A sellout, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, players are playing for that shit because they want to be in that 11 for that game. But everyone's going to raise the game against us. We're being top of the league all season, so they had a great chance after about 20 seconds. Kieran tipped it around the post, and then from the resulting corner, free header back post.
And it's the worst start imaginable for any side.
Yeah, we had a couple of half chances. The keeper's bobbled one. It's gone over the bar, but we weren't at the races. We weren't at the races at all. Probably was our worst performance of the season, I would have thought. That and the second half against AFC Liverpool.
Two promising points to come out of that game were the debuts of Zach Catesby and Jack Darlington.
Yeah.
Mick said they were the best players on the day.
Zach Catesby played in the under-18s last year for Lee Robbo's team, that treble-winning team that we covered in the final of the Cheshire Cup. I followed him a lot because I know Lucas's dad, so when I watch a lot of games, he's a good player. He's played a lot of reserve team football as well. So for his tender years, he's got quite a bit of experience. So it's great to see him getting an opportunity. It's good to see, again, Mick dipping into the youth teams and the development teams, rather than just going signing anyone. So again, it's a shout to any players coming through Vauxhalls. If you're good enough, you'll get your chance. And then the forwards, Darlington.
Jack Darlington.
Yeah, he had a couple of chances. He was unlucky. Great save off the header, I think it was, and the keeper's tipped it. It would have been easy for the keeper to go down that way, but he still stood up big. But yeah, he looked like he could cause problems. Big lad. Yeah, so he looked a handful, but we were poor. Like I say, Mick McGrath's being very honest at the end of it. He got a second goal. He had the goal ruled out.
Kieran made a few
saves
a couple
of good saves, Kieran. Yeah, so it's just hopefully we're back at home today or after the next game after Congleton. So we just need to get back to winning ways, and hopefully that run of 5 games where we got 4 out of 15 points, we can just put that to bed and put that down as our bad spell of the season and kick on.
So all of that means that Avro have displaced the Motors at the top of the Premier Division table, and a month ago it was looking like a bit of a 2-horse race between Vauxhall and Wythenshawe, but now any one of the top 5 could certainly have a case for finishing top. And of course we've mentioned it a few months back, Bury AFC are creeping up.
Yeah,
they've still got a few games in hand, and they're 6 points behind Vauxhall at the minute.
I was speaking to Colin, the secretary, last week, and I said Wythenshawe won, and he went, they're out of it. And I thought, they're not out of it. So then they backed that up by going away to Bury on Wednesday.
It's a great win.
So then now they're back in the mix. So you got Avro, ourselves, Northwich, Victoria, slowly and quietly
going about their business. Yeah, they're doing really well.
They're probably the ones that have come out of mid-table pack, gone about the business. And there's always a team, isn't there, in Premier League, whatever division, that'll get out of relegation, or they'll drop down to relegation, or they'll have a late run for a European space. That's what they seem to be doing. They've gone a bit unnoticed, but I think they're playing Bury today.
That's the thing, all these teams have to play each other, so there's going to be plenty more twists and turns.
Listen, there's 9 games left. There's going to be twists and turns right until, I think, the last couple of games, if not down to the final day.
Well, it's certainly going to be exciting and nerve-wracking whichever way it goes. So as we mentioned, we're recording this on the day of the Lowbreck game, and the Winsford game will have already happened. But March, up until that game right at the end of the month against Bury AFC at home here at the Van Eupen Arena, there's potential to pick up quite a few points in the games that we've got.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely Lowbreck, Winsford, Bearscow, Earlham, and then obviously the Bury game. I've always said all season, Bury, they don't score many, they don't concede, but I think we can get at them, and I think we can do them home and away. Honestly can. And Wythenshawe have been one of the best scoring teams this year. Proved it on Wednesday. They went away, bang, scored 3 against them. So they don't score many. We see it, don't we? We check Twitter on the Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock. Bury 1-0, Bury 1-0, Bury 1-0. So if we can score against them, I think we'll do them.
So now we come to our Player of the Month award, and if you thought that January's Player of the Month caused a lot of heated debate, February's certainly did, for different reasons. But we're going to have a look at the nominations now, and we're going to start off with Bobby McDonnell. He's had a good run in the side in the month of February, got himself a goal, and he's been a quiet operator in the side. He's been a handful in the games he started. Yeah, he starts off really well, Bobby, this season. Him and Lewis Buckley look like they're going to form a great partnership, and I think they've had niggling injuries, each of them, and then obviously Connor Harwood's come in, so Bobby's drifted in and out the team. But he's certainly on his day, Bobby, he's going to cause you problems. Great feet, got a goal in him, works hard. And his goal against Northwich Victoria was a great strike as well. Yeah. So the next nominee is Kieran O'Loughlin, goalkeeper, and I think we decided this because he prevented games and results being much worse than they could have been. Do you know what? I like Kieran because he's never ever let us down. He's never. You can't ever pinpoint a game and go, well, do you know what? He's cost us a point there. He's cost us 3 points there. He's never ever let us down. He kicks well. He talks well. He'll give his opinion, which is always good. And he makes crucial saves. Like I say, the Congleton game, he pulled off some really good saves in the second half. Really good saves, and that could have easily been 4 or 5-0, and it could have been a really, it could have really dented our belief. But he's kept it down. So I think he's been solid. He'll always be a 7 out of 10, Kieran. So and you know what, fighting the keeper's corner, we always go unnoticed. So he's getting a bit of recognition here. And the final nominee for this month is a man of many positions. I don't think there's a position on the pitch that he hasn't played. Simon Thelwell. He's come in to the side, got a run of games, got himself a goal, and again, despite the results, same with Kieran, he's been a dependable player. Mr. Dependable, yeah. He's again that back four has not been settled, has it? Not since the turn of the year, yeah. Injuries and people missing suspensions. I think throughout the season,
You know, we've seen lads coming in from BMO and Jay Cully,
yeah.
coming in from the reserves, and so it hasn't been really a settled back four. But I thought, well, yeah, Mr. Dependable, you know what you're going to get out of him. Similar to Kieran, you're going to get a 7 out of 10 out of him. He's popped up with a goal as well, an important goal. So yeah, he's rightly in the mix.
So days were spent discussing Player of the Month. It was a very hotly contested debate. I'm not ashamed to say that we had a few arguments about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But in the end, we came to a consensus, and the Moses Mouth podcast Player of the Month for February is Bobby McDonnell. But we're going to move on to our Goal of the Month award. Now, usually we like to draw up a short list of 5 goals, and there hasn't been a problem in the past, but for February we were limited to 4 because that's the amount of goals that were scored. We were
going to set the camera up for training, weren't we, and see the 5th goal and see if we can get a goal from training, from shooting practice. But no, yeah, I mean we've scored a lot of goals this season, one of the top goal scorers in the league, but like I say, we're just hoping it's that little blip and it's just a bit of a hard month, but the goals certainly weren't flowing.
So let's take a look at the goals that are in the running.
Cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly.
This one I think was a bit more cut and dry. As we said, we've only got 4 to pick from, but we came to an agreement on this one that the Goal of the Month for February, the Moses Mouth podcast Goal of the Month, goes to that man, Bobby McDonnell, for his second half effort against Northwich Victoria. Let's have a look at that goal again. So now I think our favourite part of the show, the infamous Mini Motors Challenge, and this month Sean Moscrop faced the challenge, and I'm sure he fit in with the Mini Motors. He certainly looks like one.
Well, that's it. I done the questions for this one, and I couldn't help but throw a few questions about his size and youthful appearance.
His youthful appearance. Just for the record, we love you, Sean.
Yeah.
So let's see how Sean got on facing the challenge.
What's your name?
Sean.
What team do you play for?
The Mighty Motormen.
Oh, I thought it was under 7s.
You stitched me up here, haven't you?
What skincare do you use? You look about 7.
L'Oreal's good, actually.
How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
How many chickens? Wow. I'd probably say about 10,000, do you think?
Who loves themselves the most in the team?
Oh, definitely Connor Harwood, I think. Yeah.
What sport do you think they will invent next?
What sport? Not a clue. Quidditch might go up there. I know it's already a sport, but I reckon it'll go bigger, yeah.
What is your favourite podcast?
Favourite podcast? Oh, that's a good one. I quite like Athletico Mints, it's called. Bob Mortimer, he's quite funny. I like him. Go on.
Would you rather win the league or score the winner in the playoffs?
Win the league every day.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes.
Good
I'm
answer.
having that. Yeah, I like that.
What is your favourite movie?
Ooh. I'd have to say Shawshank Redemption, I think.
If there was a movie about you, who would you play you?
Who would play me? Any baby-faced actors? Can you think of any out? I haven't got a clue. Not very good with actors, actually. Go on,
How do you hang toilet paper?
Macaulay Culkin, did you? Go on, sorry, go on.
How do you hang toilet paper over or under?
Oh, it's got to be over. That's a pet hate of mine. If I'm in someone's house, I'll change it over.
Where's the most embarrassing place that you have farted?
Most embarrassing place I farted. Oh, that's a tough one. Probably have to say in work somewhere. And I work on my own, so it can't be anyone else.
Who is your first celebrity crush?
A first celebrity crush. Ooh. Megan Fox, I think. Yeah.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
A superpower. Ooh. Probably to fly.
Do you drink soup or eat soup?
Drink soup.
Favourite type of food?
Favourite type of food. I like a steak. Nice steak. Oh, you like steak, yeah.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I do, yeah.
Do you think that aliens really exist?
Yeah, definitely. There's some out there.
Do you get scared when you are home alone?
Well, if a Macaulay Culkin, maybe. No, I'm alright. I'm not bad.
What is the biggest lie that you have ever told?
Some killers here. Biggest lie I've ever told. That I'm pretty good at footy.
If you were a dog, what breed would you be?
Chihuahua, probably. All these baby, yeah, Chihuahua.
What's your dream holiday destination?
Dream holiday. Ooh. I'd probably have to say somewhere like Iceland. I'm not, yeah. Mrs. is hot holidays. I'd rather a cold one, adventurous one like that. So maybe one day.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi. Not a debate.
Hamilton or Verstappen?
I'd have to go Verstappen, actually. Yeah.
So some tough questions in there, and I think he abstained from the question about who his favourite Motors Mouth podcast presenter was. So we might have to let him off of that, or maybe press him further.
We'll speak to him later. We'll press him. Just go. Don't sit on the fence. You know what I mean?
And we'll get it on record and on video.
Get it on record. Yeah.
So now focusing on matters away from the first team, let's dive a little bit deeper into the Vauxhall community, and we're going to meet a gentleman who's been associated with Vauxhall for many, many years. A wonderful man. Whenever you get the chance to speak to him, and I do implore you to have a conversation with him on a match day. It's Harry Deery.
He's a wonderful man that takes your money when you come to the game.
Yes, so you will have encountered him when you've come to a game, and if you haven't, then please do come along. Harry Deery, and we spoke to him and found out about his association with Vauxhall and what are some of his highlights.
My name's Harry Deery.
What's your role at Vauxhall Motors?
My role is very minor at Vauxhall Motors. I do the gate for the home games, really, support the team, suggestions, help wherever I can, really.
How long have you been at the club?
This is my second stint at the club. I've been here at the club now for the last 5 years, but prior to that I was here in 2000 or early 2000 when we were in the North Conference, when I was treasurer of the club. So I've been away for a few years, living in Cyprus, so I'm back now anyway, so there we go.
Why did you get involved with the club in the first place?
Well, I got involved with the club in the first place mainly due to my friend Alvin MacDonald, who was the manager then, and Tony Woodley, or Lord Woodley as he is now, whatever it is, persuaded me to come as treasurer. Basically, that's when I got the involvement in the club. I've been involved, but not actually in Vauxhall, in local football for many years. So Vauxhall itself is probably 2000, something like that.
How has the club evolved since you first got involved?
It's grown massively, really. I mean, the area, I mean, obviously the new clubhouse, the whole thing, really. just the standard has gone up massively in the last 7 or 8, 10 years maybe.
What's been the highlight of your time here? If you had to pick one.
Well, it's very difficult really, but probably the FA Cup run when we went down to Queen's Park Rangers and won down there. I was actually treasurer at that time, and that was a very, very good time for the club really, both financially and obviously football-wise.
And finally, who's been your favourite player at Vauxhall, and why was it former goalkeeper Steve Hilton?
Yeah, Steve was an excellent goalkeeper, no doubt about it. Favourite player is very, very difficult because there's been so many over the years really. But going back to the QPR game, Matt Hadrell, who was our centre half in that game, went on to play professional football, but he was outstanding, particularly, I think.
Amazing, thank you, Harry.
You're welcome.
So that's another month done for the Motors and for us on the Motors Mouth podcast. And if we're being honest, Steve, we're glad to see the back of February.
Yeah. Short month gone. Get it over with. Into March now. Even though the weather, you'd still say it's February weather. But 9 games to go. I've said that a few times. Business end of the season. I think Mick he touched on this point a few times where if he would have been put us in this position to start the season, he would have took it.
Mm-hmm.
I think
he's been very consistent with that as well this season.
I just hope put that month to bed. It's gone. Let's move on. 2 winnable games, slower break, even though it's going to be a battle against Scout's team again. Win your battles first and all that, which I've said over and over again. But the 3 points we're at home today, get the 3 points today, and then be a tricky one at Winsford. But yeah. And then obviously push on with a couple of games and then the big one at the end of the month.
And it seems like an obvious thing to say, but it feels like March is going to be make or break for not just Vauxhall, but
a lot of
the teams at the top fighting for the promotion and first position. So hopefully we're going to have an exciting month when we bring you the next episode. And I don't know if we've discussed this, but March might be our final one before the end of season review. So tune into that. We're running out of months and games, so join us for the ride in this eventful North West Counties Premier Division season. We'll see you next month, and thank you for joining us.
Cheers.